So our problem says we want to make a table showing the amount of each monthly payment that goes towards the principal and the interest for the first 3 months of the loan. Home mortgage of $154,000 with a fixed APR of 6% for 30 years. So what I have to do for this one is similar to something that was in the guided notes for section 4D. And so the first thing I need to do is find out how much the payment is, the monthly payment. So I'm going to use the formula for the home loans savings plan, and that, the home loans payment plan, and that can be found on the guided notes and on the formula sheet. So let's take a look at the formula sheet and we'll pull up that formula. So here's our formula sheet, and if we flip to page 2, we're going to see the 4 finance formulas for chapter 4. Simple interest and compound interest were the discussion for 4B. Savings plan was the discussion for 4C. And the loans is the discussion for 4D, is the one that is used in that 4D section. And so that's the one we are going to use because it is a home mortgage, so it is a loan formula. Now, I want to point out that the difference between using the compound interest formula in 4B versus the savings plan formula in 4C is that the compound interest formula is for a lump sum at the very beginning. So you are saving $5,000 right now, and you're going to save it for 10 years and see what it grows to. With the savings plan, you are making a savings per month. So maybe I save $50 a month. I put away $50 a month, and after 5 years, I'm going to see what it grows to. So those are the differences. Because the savings plan also uses a compound interest portion to it, but this one has to deal with a monthly payment, a yearly payment, something where you're doing a repeated savings. So, but back to the question at hand, which is 4D and the loans formula. So that's the one we're going to use. So I am going to, whenever I do these problems, what I like to do is I like to write the formula out so that I have it right in front of me. So let's copy what we have on the formula sheet. And I'm going to copy the parentheses also, because that's very important when I go to put it in the calculator. And notice the loan formula has a negative sign in the exponent here. So we make sure we use the negative sign on the calculator, not the minus sign. All right, so let's put the variables to the side here and let's pick them out from the problem. So we've got 5 variables, and we are going to first look for we want to find the monthly payment, so that's my unknown. The principal is the amount of the starting amount of the loan, so it's going to be the $154,000. The APR, that is typically easy to find in the problem because you look for the percent sign, but whenever we're using any of those formulas from chapter 4, we always want to write our interest rate as a decimal point. So I drop the percent sign and I move the decimal point 2 places to the left. And then the N is the number of payments we're going to have. And so we're talking about monthly payments. So there are 12 months in a year. And the Y is the loan term, and it is 30 years. So now I'm going to put those items into the formula that I have up above. So filling this in, it's going to look like this. And then once I am done, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into my calculator just as what I've written here. And I forgot this close of bracket here. So now take the calculator. So let's grab the calculator and let's take a look at it. And so I'm going to put everything that I have on the on this whiteboard here into the calculator. And I'm going to do it all in one step. I'm not going to break it into pieces because this calculator will do everything in one step. So let the calculator do the calculations because it will figure out the order of operations. Otherwise, we have to make sure that we're doing the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, left to right, addition, subtraction, left to right. So this is my numerator. Here's my numerator. Then I'm going to hit divide by and then follow the parentheses. So wherever you have a bracket, put in a parenthesis. And then 1 minus, and that should be 1 plus. There's an error on my screen here. So going back to the calculator screen, 1 plus, and then close the parenthesis. And then always take a step back, make sure that what you've written, input it into the calculator is the same thing that you have written on the paper. And then I'm going to do caret symbol. Now on this calculator, it superscripts it, so you don't need the parentheses. On other calculators, if you see the caret symbol, then you need to put the parentheses around the exponent so the calculator knows that that's the exponent. And then in order to put this last bracket in, I have to right arrow over to get back to a normal line on this calculator and then close the parenthesis. So now that whole denominator has been put in there. Missing one thing, whether it is a plus sign, a parenthesis, is going to change the answer. I'm going to hit enter, and this is what I get for my monthly payment. So that is my monthly payment. So what I'm going to do is going to round that to the second decimal, which is the cents place. And now I'm filling in the table that they're showing me on the MyLab Math. And basically that table says we've got the month, and we want to know the interest, and we want to know the part that will go towards the principal. And then we want to know the new balance, the new principal. So at the end of month 1, the interest. Now, to figure out the interest, this is the payment. That's not the interest. But part of this payment goes towards interest. And to figure out how much that is, we are going to use the simple interest formula. The simple interest formula says you take the principal, you multiply it by the rate, you multiply it by the time. So in this case, so if we want to find this, we're going to take the 154,000, multiply it by the rate. Now we only want the every month. So I'm going to take the 0.06 and divide it by 12 because there are 12 months. That is the interest rate per month. And then there's one, it's only 1 month because we're talking about the time of 1 month. So when I do that, let's see what I get. And then multiply by 1. Oh, there's an error there. So I caught that error. I hit times, not divide. So here's my interest, $770. So if out of the payment is $923. $770 is going to go to interest. And that means how much goes to principal? We'll take the payment, $923 and 31 cents, and subtract off the $770. This is what's going to go towards the principal. So this will be a $153.31. the new principal would, whatever the starting was, which in this case was the 154, and subtract off the 153. So let's see what we get our new principal to be. And I can hit, instead of retyping that, I can hit second negative sign. And so let's write down that here. Now, we don't have to put the dollar signs in because the dollar signs in the MyLab Math are in there. But if you're doing this on a test, you want to make sure you label everything with dollar signs. At the end of month 2, we're going to do the same thing now. The only thing is that the principal now is 153, 846, and 69 cents. And then you multiply it by the 0.06 divided by 12, and then it's for 1 month. So grab the calculator, do that same process. So taking now the new principal, which is the prior answer, times the 0.06, divided by 12, and then times 1. So I don't have to do that multiplication. Here's my the amount that is going to go towards that's the amount of interest for this month. And then again, take your payment. The payment is the $923.31 and subtract the $769.23. And this is the amount that goes towards principal. And so that will come off the balance. And so we'll take the 153, 846 and 69 cents, and we'll subtract off that amount. So second answer, and here's my new principal. And you continue that process for how many months they ask you. So we'll do it one more time. So again, it's principal times the rate times the time. So my new principal is in the calculator already, times it by the 0.06, but that is 12 months. This is for the whole year. The 6% for the whole year is the annual percentage rate. That's why I'm dividing by 12. And then times it by 1, which wouldn't change it. So now we're down to 768 and 46 cents. So take your payment, which would be the amount that's highlighted in pink on this page, and subtract off the 768 and 46 cents. This is the part that goes towards principal. And now take what's left of the principal and subtract, oops, wrong digit there, and then subtract off that prior amount, and we get this amount. So let's fill in the chart here. And so basically what this is trying to show you is that it's showing how as the months go towards the loan term. So this is, this is only 3 months. You start to see the pattern that emerges is less is going towards the interest, more is going towards the principal, and the balance keeps getting paid down. So as you get closer to the end of your loan, 30 years later, the amount that goes towards interest will be almost zero. More of it will go towards principal, and your balance will eventually get down to zero. So, but think about it, this is only 3 months. So for 30 years, you would need to write this out. Let's see, 12 times 30, you would have to have 360 rows. So, and if you, when you see a home mortgage, they will show you this table, and they'll show you how much is going towards interest and how much goes towards principal. And so that's what this problem is trying to demonstrate.